So in the year 1614, going back a few years, 1614, the Catholic Church published what's called the Rite of Exorcism, rite spelled R-I-T-E. And so if you've ever seen the movie The Exorcist, this is the book that they use in that movie. And the real story of The Exorcist happened in March of 1949. And that's what they used, was the rite of exorcism. And there's 196 Catholic dioceses in the United States. Every single one of them has an appointed exorcist. That is someone, a priest, who is trying to diagnose if this person has experienced what we call demonic possession. And people say, Father, look, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in that. My response to that is, don't. That doesn't mean it's not true. This does happen. And so in the rite of exorcism, in the front, again, this dates to the year 1614, there are certain things that the exorcist needs to look for in the person to see if there's a demonic possession. Do they have like superhuman strength beyond their capacity? By the way, we hear about that in all four of the Gospels. Do they know languages that they've never studied? They have access to information they've never studied. Again, we hear about that in the Gospels. For instance, they're Gerasene demoniac. So one of the things that we call that, when they know things they could never possibly know, they call that clairvoyance. Or the theological term for this is hierognosis, from the Greek word hiero, which means holy, gnosis, knowledge, holy knowledge. In other words, they know something that you may have done 20 years ago, or something you will do 2 weeks from now. There's no way they could know this. In the same way that evil can use knowledge towards something bad, the Holy Spirit and angels can use it towards something good. For instance, some of the saints, Padre Pio, Catherine of Siena, St. John Vianney, all of them could read souls. So people would come to them and they instantaneously saw into them and helped them to get closer to God. With Padre Pio and St. John Vianney, their bodies never corrupted. Looks like they just passed away 30 minutes ago. Interesting. What's your point, Father? This is why I'm telling you this. For each one of us, in the same way, we can use knowledge about other people in both good and bad ways. Good and bad ways. If it's true, as Francis Bacon, the philosopher, once said, that knowledge is what? Power. That's true. You can use knowledge for good or evil. And I share this with you because when we talk about the issue of family conflict and conflicts, we see this a lot, don't we? Oh, Father, let me tell you, my wife, my husband, they bring it up again and again and again and again. They won't let it go, Father. And so we can use knowledge or history of someone in both a good or bad way. But it begs the question, how do we deal with conflict? I mean, you want my opinion. Look, I don't have kids. You guys do. That is a basic life skill we need to teach our children. They're going to have conflicts, whether it's at work, a difficult boss, in our families, our in-laws, whatever. Okay? How do we deal with conflict? Keeping in mind that conflict with other people always starts with conflict within ourselves first. For instance, are we able to control our temptations? Are we able to control our emotions? Because if not, I can guarantee you it's going to spill out, which is going to impact other people. So really, all conflict starts right here first. How do we deal with that? It's worth asking that question. So this is why we need prudence and wisdom, or as we hear in the second reading today from who? I know that was 5 minutes ago. Okay, so second reading today from Paul. Okay, so very good. So Paul says, be transformed by the renewal of your mind. That's what he's talking about. Because how we're thinking is how we're acting. How we're acting is going to impact other people. It just is. That's what he's talking about. How do we use knowledge? How do we control our emotions? Prudence. St. James Epistle, chapter 1, verse 5, it says this, pray for wisdom or prudence and it will be given to you. I promise. Maybe not at the moment, okay, but it's going to come. It's going to come, I promise. And those of you that are parents and grandparents, correct me if I'm wrong here, but often we have to have a lot of prudence, right? I mean, you know that if you say a certain thing to your children or grandchildren, it could go either way, right? You tell your kids how to raise their kids, you're going to get in trouble with your kids. I mean, this is how it goes, usually. So we need prudence, yeah? So to that point, bear with me. I just want to share with you some of the major points of family conflict that I have seen in almost 20 years as a priest, and some of the ways to solve those conflicts. All right? I've made a list over the years, and I'm just going to share it with you. These are some of the points that can be family conflicts. Number one, our attitude. Our attitude. I can't begin to tell you how often counselors and clergy see this. We'll be doing marriage counseling. Somebody will be telling us the problem, and their spouse is over, arms crossed, staring at the floor. Right? No matter what we say, they've already tuned out. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Their attitude. Number two, finances. That won't come as a shocker. Men, as a general rule, my opinion, tend to worry more about money. Women, as a general rule, tend to worry more about what's going on with my children and the dynamics of the family. Political views. Right? Political views. Recently, I was talking to this young man. He came to me and he said, Father, I need an exorcism. And I said, this should be good. And he wasn't Catholic. Most of the people that come to us for this are not Catholic. And I asked him, I said, well, if you're not Catholic, why are you coming to a Catholic priest? He said, well, Father, my pastor told me you guys are the ones that deal with this stuff. Whatever, right? But I was talking to him, he said, Father, I don't know, like I get so, it's like I'm possessed. He wasn't possessed. He's passionate about his political views. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, right? I said, well, all we're going to do, dude, is we're just going to turn the knobs down a little bit, okay? That's all we're going to do, right? It's not a demon. It's just going to turn the knobs down a little bit. But all that conflict starts here. Look, we have to learn how to control ourselves. That's part of being a mature adult. Unresolved past issues. Sometimes in families there can be this issue and that one, and they're just out there floating, never resolved. And you know what happens when that happens? It's a powder keg. There's going to be one little thing that tips that person over the edge, and you're like, dude, where's that coming from? It's because you have all this stuff out there floating, and the person's been chewing on it and chewing on it and chewing on it. Life transitions, retirement, in-laws moving in, age, maybe we're empty nesters. Erratic or neurotic behavior. Erratic or neurotic. Do people feel like they're walking on eggshells around you? Mental illness. Look, nobody would they would never fault somebody for being born with a mental illness. That's not their fault. What can be their fault is untreated mental illness. If I need to go to counseling, take medication, if we don't do that, other people have to deal with the consequences. Parenting styles. We have two different ways of parenting. And finally, overwork. And people will say, Father, look, I want to provide things for my child that I never had. And that's an admirable wish. But my question to that is, maybe what your child needs is you. Maybe they need you more, not things more. What are some of the solutions? Again, I just share this with you based on some of the things that I have found effective with some of the families that we have worked with. Number one, what sets us off? Call it triggers, whatever you want to call it, not just your temper, jealousy, insecurity. What is it that sets you off? And by the way, if you don't know what sets you off, ask your spouse. They'll tell you. Compromise. This will come as no shocker, but rarely do we get everything we want. We're going to have to take something on the chin and compromise. It's the same for pastors, trust me. Do we accept what and who we cannot control? People can lose so much energy over people and things and situations they can't control. It's totally out of their control. But they lose so much energy over this, and they chew on it and chew on it and chew on it, right? Everybody here knows the serenity prayer. If you know it, say with me. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. We've all heard this. It's not what we say, but what? How we say it. How do we say it? Again, our attitude. And finally, there should always be a base level respect with other people. As Christians, God is expecting more from us, brothers and sisters. From whom much has been given, much will be what? Expected. We should always give a base level respect for people that we completely disagree with. Okay? God expects that from us. You know, I just will share this. The biggest challenge is not when somebody's right and when somebody's wrong. It's when somebody's right and somebody's right. That's the challenge. We have to compromise. Everybody on all sides has good points. Sometimes we need to remember when we talk about conflict, the issue is not the issue. What we're arguing about is not the issue. Imagine the argument is an iceberg. So there's what we're talking about above the water. And then there's this whole thing underneath the water. 3/4 of it under the water. So what we're going to do to solve the problem is not go from the top down. We're going to go from the bottom up. You with me? And when we do that, this top thing, well, kind of dissolves. What's really going on with that person? And I'm just going to share this if you permit me. I'm going to be honest with you. There are some people that we will meet in life that are so toxic and dysfunctional. In some situations that will wound us so deeply, the only option for us is distance. I love you. I wish you the best. I cannot be around you. And Jesus himself talks about this. He says, do not lay your pearls before swine. What does that mean? It means we have to protect what's holy. What's holy? Your peace. I wish you the best, my friend. I can't be around you. All conflict with other people usually starts with conflict within ourselves first. We may win the battle, but we lose the war. Very difficult for people to remember in the midst of heated arguments. I'll close with this. 1940, 1941, London. As you know, the German Luftwaffe were bombing day in and day out London, killing thousands and thousands. Winston Churchill very famously said, "In the field of human conflict, never was so much owed by so many to so few." Never was so much owed by so many to so few. Most people know Churchill said that. What they don't know that Churchill said, though, is that we need to teach, he said, we need to teach our children how to handle conflict. That generation, they knew conflict was reality, and they learned how to handle it. That's why I love talking to them. But many in my generation and younger, they never learn this. So what happens is they hold it in, se explota in Spanish. They explode, making it exponentially worse. We need to learn how to deal with this, brothers and sisters, as adults. And here's the good news, and there is good news. God will always give us the grace that we need in the amount we need it at the moment we need it. And as we get through it, and we will, on the other side of it, we have grown in that wisdom and that transformation that Paul speaks of.